All right, cool. So we got Yasser Fermin in the house today. What's going on, brother? How are you?
What's up, man? What's going on? Good to be here.
All right,
Honored to be
awesome.
here.
All right, so we'll jump right into it, given that I've gotten some feedback that people want to get right into the training.
Let's go. Let's
So
go.
today's training, Yasser, we're going to talk about the success you've had in recruiting.
Okay.
My understanding is you've had a little over 50 people over the last 60 days come through your pipeline. Is that correct?
Yes, more or less, yes.
All right, brother. So I think I want to go step by step on what your approach is, what your thoughts on recruiting are, and kind of like how you've got into this number. So to get started, Yasser, why are you recruiting? Let's just get into the why real quick, and then we'll jump into the technical stuff.
Sure. So the why is very basic for me. One, I know what you've done with the business, right? The fact that I'm directly coming into our agency, and you have coached me, basically helped me develop, right, my skill set. I've seen your trajectory, right, what you've been able to do in insurance, and my objective from day one is, what is it that Joseph has done, with Level Up, and try to duplicate the results. And obviously you can't do that if you don't recruit. Okay. I have a very big vision of what it is that I want to do in my journey, right, in my career as a broker, as an agent, and that includes building an agency. I mean, that's a big part of what it is, part of my development and what I'm trying to do. So
Fantastic. And something you touched on, bro. And first of all, thank you. Because what I was about to say is when I came in, I saw a couple people, and it wasn't necessarily the same dynamic that you and me have because we work together.
right.
But there was a couple people in the industry that I wanted to be like, but I don't even mean that like in like mimicking way, more so like what they were doing, like the
Right.
business that we're running, which I think is very similar to what we're seeing with our dynamic.
Sure.
And I guess the first thing that everybody watching should know is you've got to find who you want to be. I'm doing that with content now, and
True.
I'm studying certain people that I love what they've done, and kind of figuring out the strategies behind it. And
Sure.
I don't know why more people don't do that. Maybe we should say it more, but yeah, you've got to kind of have like a mark for you to have a goal, right? You got to know where you want to get to. And
Truly. Absolutely.
in your case, all right, so you saw what I've done. You're looking at, okay, agents. What exactly is it that attracts you to recruiting? Is it the financial gain? Is it maybe stopping to sell? Like, there's got to be a reason why it makes sense. What exactly is it that you like about recruiting?
So first, I mean, I think that obviously I'm 44 years old, right? So I've been in sales all my life. I've coached, I've led sales teams before in my previous life, right? In telecom, and so I bring to the table that leadership, right? That leadership. Obviously, there's things that I've had to develop in, right? While I've been here, I've been here now for a little bit of close to a year now, right? So, but my biggest goal, my biggest objective with what I'm trying to do with the business and recruiting is, eventually, obviously, you want to scale the business. That's really what it is. And the way you scale the business long term is by building a team, developing a team, duplicating your results. Once you have your results down packed, you're now the way you duplicate that, or the way you scale the business, is by duplicating your skills onto others, and pretty much training others, developing others, and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Multiply yourself.
Multiply yourself. Pretty much. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So what type of person do you look for? Like, what's the profile of a person that you look for to work in your team?
So I look for people that I always ask myself this question, and I learned this from somebody. I can't really recall who it was. You got to ask yourself, would I want to work for this person?
Okay.
That's kind of like one of my rule of thumb. Okay. Is I ask myself when I'm recruiting somebody, can I work for this person? Think about that. I'm not going to work for this person, but can this person be my boss if that was the dynamic of things? Okay. And, obviously there's chemistry involved, right? We have to align mentally in the sense of, I believe in hard work. There's no shortcuts, right? In anything you do in life. I believe in putting your head down, coming in, and actually, just basically go to work and develop. And the biggest job, the biggest work that you have in this industry is working on yourself. So you have to be someone that's, I came into the industry with a lot of flaws, right? And I've been looking at myself in the mirror, and thanks to the leadership that we have here in Level Up, I've been able to actually identify the things that I needed to work on. Am I in not just while I'm doing the business, but outside of work, you know?
Sure.
I'm a huge believer that what you do outside of work does actually it reflects on what you do in your productivity and your you know your day-to-day as an agent, as a broker. So I'm a huge believer in that. But I actually came to believe more in that being here in this environment, because this is the culture that we have, right? So I align very well. My mentality aligns very well. So someone that I recruit has to value these things, these intangible things, these principles that are not, you know, they're not tangible,
Right.
but, you know, so that's kind of like,
Fantastic.
yeah. Mhm.
And where are you looking for like recruits? Like, are you talking to people on the street? Like, what's your method on trying to basically offer the opportunity?
So it's been mostly organic, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's been organic. It's come from me reinventing myself and projecting myself, right? One of the things I've learned in this last year is that what you project is what you're gonna attract. So if I'm projecting myself the right way, the way I'm communicating to others, if I'm in my grind at work, building myself up, becoming that prototype, becoming that proof of concept in my business, you'll be surprised. People start calling your phone. People start DMing you. People will start reaching out to you. There's things that have been in the last 6 months that's kind of like the way it has transpired. I brought on a team, and you know this, with about 25 people, and they have you know, branches of like, they have teams among themselves that they're coming over, that we're bringing on, and we're training and developing. But that then could or would not happen if I had not rebranded myself. You know, I have a lot of experience in telecom, so people know me as Yasser from telecom, right? So I had to come in here, obviously built myself up, learn the business, learn how to close, learn how to actually learn about the market, learn about the concept of life insurance. Is not as cookie cutter as people think. You know, it's not just talking about life insurance. It's not even about the product. It's really about the concept, you know, the concept of why people need insurance and all that stuff, which for someone that is been in another industry coming over to this industry, there's so much information to learn. So you do have to, number one, be humble, be willing to be coachable, learn from others, and don't be afraid to fail as quick as possible. And that's what I basically done, you know?
Right. And then, so I'm gonna recap what I just heard you say, just to make sure I understood correctly.
Okay.
One, most of your recruiting has been organic, or all of your recruiting has been organic. A big part of it is you rebranded yourself.
Pretty much.
Which correct, and we can kind of dive into that in a second.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming is, you know, your posts on social media. And then you talk about what you portray, is what you attract, which goes right back to branding. So, talking about the same topic, I know you're active on social media, and I'll tell you what was my challenge in the beginning. You tell me if it was the same thing you were thinking, and if it is, how you overcame it, because I think a lot of people deal with this. Just like you, I came from telecom. And I was in the leadership role for a long time, my entire adult life, basically, prior to insurance. And my biggest concern with social media posting was, honestly, I cared about what people thought, even though I said I did not, because I didn't want to come off as like pushy or thirsty. And then the worst thing that happened to me when it came to that was that I did well buying leads. So I'm like, I don't even need people to buy from me online.
Right.
So I'm just going to buy more leads and make more money. I snapped out of it rather quickly, but I think it's a challenge a lot of people go through.
Right.
Did you go through that one? And if you did, how did you overcome it?
Absolutely. I mean, I think I'm still a little bit conscious of it, right? I think who isn't, right? What others may think or whatnot, right? But I think that the more genuine you are, even while you are performing, right? When you're, in my case, on the phones, when you're speaking to a client, let's just say, talk about outside of recruiting, I've learned to just be genuine. Just be, what you see is what you get. Authentic. When you see it, authentic, you have to come across authentic. The more, not perfect, I think what hurts people is that they try to be too perfect online. So I try to show a lot of my imperfection. Like, I'll post something about me and my son. Like, I can, you know, spending time with my son. You know, who is Yasser Fermin, right? I'm a father, I'm a husband. So I post a lot about me and my wife, having fun with my wife. who is Yasser Fermin, right? That's the question that people want to know. And I want people to get to know me. I'm into hip hop. I love hip hop. I grew up on hip hop, right? So I want to project that. I'm not going to shy away from that
East
because
Coast,
that's
Biggie Smalls type of guy.
whatever I feel like I can
Give
put
me
on the
top
headset.
3 rappers of all time.
Biggie Smalls. That was my first. Ready to
We'll make it
die.
quick. My bad, bro. It's just like,
Ready to Die was my first album that I ever bought.
I got
right.
techniques dripping up.
Exactly. I was a huge.
Sleep
right?
on my stomach so I don't fuck up.
Exactly. Many songs that we can relate
That's
to.
actually life after death. But no.
Yeah. So Ready to Die album, classic album. Wu-Tang Clan, huge. I grew up on that stuff. 90s hip hop.
Fine. Back to the topic. My bad. You're good.
No,
So,
but we're talking about branding. So you got to be genuine. You got to be authentic, right? Who are you, right? That's what people want to know. And I think the more authentic you are, the more people are going to be relating to you, and the more they're willing to follow you. And obviously, you want to give valuable content, right? I like to post. Some people think that I'm a philosopher because I love philosophy and I love old scriptures and quotes. Things that kind of help me through my day might help someone else. So I post some of that. And also talk about the business. What people need to know, what is it that you're doing, right? I'm no longer in my 9 to 5. So I'm an entrepreneur. So not only am I a father, not only am I a husband, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm building a business of national brokers, right? So people need to know that. So that's kind of like what I've been doing the past year, just rebranding myself. And organically, I've been getting calls, people on wondering, people want to give it a shot, right? Give insurance a try. And there's filters, right? That kind of filter all the people that just are going to come in and not perform, right?
I think authenticity is the biggest thing that sells, bro. Without a doubt. You touch on a few things there. And I think another big challenge, once you decide that you do want to post, is now you kind of got to expose your personal life a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I see this mistake a lot, and I think it's a mistake where people have like their personal private page and then they make a professional business page. But especially in today's day and age, people want to work with people. Right. So if I have a insured by whatever page and then I have my personal one where I post my family,
right?
Nobody really cares about the insured by Yasser page. They care about your personal life.
Right.
It's just the way it works. It's you want to do business with people, not with companies. And people struggle with that. And I get it. I have a 4-year-old. Do I need the world seeing my 4-year-old? Not really.
Right.
Do you struggle with kind of like, because what you're doing is you're showcasing what you do, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. That's literally what branding is. You're showcasing everything you do, business, father, husband, fun on the weekends with the wife, working out late at night with your son.
The lifestyle.
Is that hard for you?
Is it hard for me? Not necessarily. I think I'm very. Some people think that I post too much. I mean, I have I got family members, maybe relatives, siblings that think that you're always taking pictures and posting on social media, and it's. Again, it just goes back to what I said before. You want to be you, and and a lot of times what hurts people is caring about what others may think. But when you really think about that, nobody's paying your bills, right? Yeah. So that's the bottom line. And as long as you're being, decent, right? I think that there's certain things that obviously you want to stay away from, but no, it's not really hard for me, no.
Sure. And something I want to touch on is, so somebody taught me this and it stuck with me and it worked very well when I first started. And you might be able to pick. I mean, I think I've told you this before, so it might not apply to you, but everybody else.
Sure.
When you're posting, there's two things, right? You want to post some things that are facts and some stories. And I'm talking specifically about the business. Personal branding goes beyond your business. It goes to showcasing your personal life, the things you're comfortable showcasing, and kind of building a persona in a sense so people see who you are. And authenticity at the end of the day is king. If you're not authentic, people can read right through that.
Right.
But when it comes to the business, the two things that I was taught and that really resonated and I applied and it worked is facts. What are facts? Facts are you wrote 10K this week. Facts are you recruited 50 people the last 60 days. Facts are, and those have to be your facts. It could be your teammates' facts. I think the fact that we post and tag each other, that's fantastic because it also gives you like some sort of social proof in a sense.
Right. That you're part of a community.
Correct.
Yeah.
But those are facts. And then stories. Stories are, career B2B sales leader, gone entrepreneur. Stories are, single mom that now wrote 30K in a month. Stories are, my wife was a teacher and retired at 27 years old to go into entrepreneurship. And I think a combination of both, it does well because stories sell and so do facts. So having a mixture. And then the other part that the same individual taught me, and this is an individual that in a sense did for me what you are looking for me to do for you, is he told me there was kind of like phases to your posting, right? When you first start posting, it's just like, oh, yes, just trying something new, whatever, people don't care. Then after a while, with consistency, it's like, now it starts becoming a little like, it goes from the hating on you stage to like the intrigue stage. Like, damn, Yasser is still in that insurance thing.
Right.
Then a little after that, which I'm starting to see that now, and it's been 5 years. I mean, maybe the last couple of years I've seen it, but I'm really starting to see the fruits of the labor now. Imagine 5 years in. Is more like, wow, I want to work with him. I want to talk to him. I want to see what he's doing because how did he stick it out for a couple of years? And understanding those stages, because the first stages where most people quit because you got a couple stupid comments at a family barbecue, you post too much, and now you become, little self-conscious, and you're like, maybe I should post less, and maybe I'm just gonna go buy more leads and make more money and screw everybody else online. But I think understanding the 3 stages and sticking it out is extremely important because it does work. Right. And for me, the funniest thing, I mean, I've been at this 5 years, I've made multiple 7 figures, and I still have people that will be like, you're still doing that insurance thing? And that's exactly my reaction. I'm like, yeah, man, I am. And I kind of just keep it moving, but you're always going to get a little bit of that. Right.
Well, you need haters, man.
100%. And being able to get over it, I think, and not care, and truly not care. Because, bro, I can even, like, I feel like I'm at the most not caring that I've ever had in my life. Yeah. And I guarantee you, if you ask me a year from now, I'm going to be like, I still cared a little bit about something that I don't even know that I care about. But but really, really cool that you're kind of going through that growth because it's a wonderful thing to see. Yeah. So, all right. So you post on social media, you rebranded. You're constantly active to the point that your family members or friends are hating. Right. Just not even call it hating. They're just saying funny comments.
Or they're being silent, right? Which you get a lot of views also, and then you get no likes. So it's like,
100%, but everybody's watching. So
everybody's watching, yeah.
All right. So let's talk about how you pitch the opportunity, because that's, the first thing is getting people to be interested in working with you. For sure. But then like, okay, let's jump on a call and let me walk you through what the opportunity looks like. Okay. What do you tell people about the opportunity? Like, how do you sell this opportunity to people? And, kind of walk us through your approach and what you're looking to say.
Definitely. So again, obviously the mindset needs to align, right? Obviously it has to be somebody that is looking for a way out of corporate America, right? Okay. Something like what I was looking for. I felt, and I knew that it was insurance. I tell you a funny story. When I was still working in telecom, I became a broken record. I got to do insurance. I would tell everybody that I had, certain level of trust. I'm going to do insurance and do insurance. I told my sister I wanted to do insurance, and she called me out on my bullshit. She's like, why don't you just do insurance?
What's stopping you, bro?
What's stopping you, right? And then finally I did it last year. So you want to definitely connect with the people that are looking for an opportunity. Sometimes I think what hurts us, or that what a lot of people make this mistake of chasing people that are not looking for an opportunity. They say they're complainers mostly about their current situation, but they're not willing to do what is necessary to actually step out and try something out of their comfort zone, right? So it's finding those people that are willing to step out of that comfort zone and actually understand that they're gonna leave the comfort of a 9 to 5, and that's where growth happens. Okay. If anything, if I'm gonna tell you, in this past year, I've learned so much about myself. I've grown so much. So if right now, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, I feel like I'm already winning, even though obviously the money's great and I'm making a lot of money. I made more money than I made the year before at my job. So that's definitely there. But what I'm saying is the growth has value as well. What I see about 9 to 5 is that there's a ceiling on where you can go as far as growth, right? As a human being, as a person. Here, you're expanding yourself in so many ways. Diamonds are created in pressure, under pressure, right? So that best self that we're all trying to be. If you're somebody that's trying to be your best self, It's under pressure that happens, not in a comfortable situation,
Gotcha.
like what like a 9 to 5 where everything is provided for you, right? So here it's kind of like you have to get up every day and you have to, you have no choice but to be positive, right? You have no choice but to put your best foot forward. You have no choice. Like you're moving forward, right? So I try to look for people that, and I can kind of sense when that person has by the way they talk and the way they come across. I'll give you an example. I invite somebody to come into the industry. First thing, what is it? They need to get licensed. If they're complaining about the license, that's a red flag right off the
All right,
rip.
but pause.
Yeah.
So you invited somebody to the industry because that's the part that I want you to unpack.
Yeah.
I got it. You're looking for a specific type of like character traits and personality or profile.
Right.
They gotta be looking for, because you're right. That is the right person for this business. Well,
But
first
how
of
do
all,
I pitch it?
how do you uncover that one? Because a lot of people will mask that just out of pride, just out of like, you can really go around like you were a career man for 22 years, or I mean, I don't know if I got the number right, but for 20 something years.
Yeah.
And maybe you got so fed up, you were like me, that you just knew that this was it. But most people are gonna be very resistant to the idea of
Right.
telling somebody that they're fed up, even if they might be willing to make a change. There's just like a pride factor. So unpacking that, one, and two, like, yeah, the actual pitch, like, okay,
Okay.
I need a change. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Tell me, how does this insurance thing work?
Okay, perfect. So number one, you have the opportunity to do this remotely if you're in another state. Okay, we have the technology to do that. We can support you remotely. If you're local, I always advise your best time spent is in the office, right? Because that's where the growth will happen the most. If we've had agents come from another state, right? We just had a group come over a couple of weeks ago to spend a week with us here. Yeah. They're making an investment. So my pitch is we have this killer team, right? Called Level Up Insurance, a brokerage with a full suite ecosystem where you can rebrand yourself. Okay. We have Engage. We have now the podcast. This is all happening. And I tell people this has all happened in 5 years. I tell your story. I say, I always use your story as far as, how we missed you were leaving Comcast and I was, starting my journey at the telecom company. And the same 4 years you invested in yourself and in your business, I invested in corporate America. Now, who has the results, Right. So the results is what matters. So people see that. And then I talk about the powerhouse that Level Up is, right? And the resources that we have to our disposal. We generate our own leads. Okay. So leads is not a problem. The rebranding, part of my rebranding, and I've utilized the resources at my disposal, which is Engage Media. So we have this whole ecosystem. So I don't sell insurance. I sell the ecosystem of our agency. Okay. So I am what you will call, let's just call it for what it is, a brand ambassador. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I pitch. I pitch the support. I pitch the development, the training that you're going to get that most agencies do not offer. Right. I mean, I've heard agents come over to us and tell me, I went here and all they did was like, get the license, here's the phones, and go get them, go get them, Tiger, and they fail, right? Because what we provide is we provide a development opportunity for people to come in. You don't have to, necessarily, nobody knows insurance, right? You have to come in here and you got to be willing to learn, put in the work, obviously. And that's how I basically present the opportunity, right?
Perfect. Do you talk about recruiting at all to people, or like, are you trying to avoid that? Because one of the biggest problems that I had,
yeah, that's a good question,
is this a pyramid scheme? Or is this like, the other companies that focus primarily on recruiting?
Right.
Does that come up? And if it does, how do you address it?
So it has come up. I've had a couple agents, and again, it goes back to mentality, right? The sad thing is that people that are in their 9 to 5, when they think about a pyramid scheme, right? Think about this. You're basically working under somebody, and there's a supervisor, there's a manager, then there's a C-level executives, and then you have the president, and then you have the owner, right? You're never going to make more money than the person above you. Or sometimes you can if you're in sales, right? But you're never going to make more money than the person that's cutting, the company that's making your check is the one making more money.
And so let's describe
a pyramid scheme. the people at the top are the ones making the most money, right? Here's an opportunity where everybody gets the same opportunity. You know, when you let's use each other's trajectory. When you started 5 years ago, you had the same opportunity that I started with a year ago.
100%.
The same opportunity, the same resources, right? Maybe a little bit different. Obviously, I'm not sure how
Right.
your start was, right?
But the same contract and
The same contract.
and the ability to work.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like when you think about it that way, we all have the same opportunity. It's all about what you bring to the table, what you're gonna do with it. That's the real question you should be asking. What am I willing? What am I going to do? So it's funny how people think about that. But yes, I've had folks kind of like, so recruiting, it's always optional. It's not mandatory to recruit. But again, I honestly don't understand why people don't recruit. I honestly don't. I don't see where the fear is. Yeah, there's some pitfalls about recruiting. You got to recruit the right person because you know, we basically, there is some pitfalls there, right? Some blind spots there that there needs to be uncovered. But no fear. You know, I don't understand why there's fear.
So, and I'll tell you how I always addressed it. And it's from the standpoint of what you just said, right? So everybody makes money anywhere. There's more than one person making money off a sale. The difference, what I think sets us apart, is that the person that is producing the sale is getting paid the most for that sale. So every single sale that gets done in our agency, out of the millions and millions of dollars we sold, I made the least amount of money per sale out of anybody.
Right.
Which is the way it should be, because honestly, I wasn't the one on the phones. I wasn't the one. Why would I make more money when you're the one picking up the phone, buying the lead, making the calls, missing time with your family, stressing out about chargebacks? The person that should make the most money is the person that sold it.
Yep.
So to a certain extent, I just circle back to production. You know what I mean? Like our structure is tailored to reward production, not recruiting. Not recruiting, you will make money. But what we never allowed, and we had conversations, we already kind of encountered that in a short period of time, recruiting people together, is our structure does not work well with people that just want to recruit and not work.
Sure.
You know, and we do it that way to keep everybody honest, because we understand. I mean, I've heard nightmare stories of structures that promote recruiting over production, where people are just recruiting each other and nobody's really selling, but it's like the craziest thing. Like the money's in production, make no mistake about it. The long-term money is in recruitment, because if you can multiply yourself in any business, I mean, if I own a air conditioning company and I hire 10 salespeople, I'm going to sell more than if I have one salesperson. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
You know, it's basic math, but my way of addressing has always gone back to that. So, hey, we reward production. If you recruit, the person selling is going to make more than you are on that sale.
Sure.
You got to be okay with that.
Right.
And that is a responsibility. And I agree, everybody should want to recruit, but everybody doesn't. And we're okay with that.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, what we're chasing is production. We're not chasing a number on a spreadsheet that says that we have X amount of agents.
Exactly.
The X amount of agents that don't sell don't mean nothing.
Exactly.
The other part that I'm big on is we only make $1 when a sale gets done. You know, and I think that is so important to explain. One, because our competition has fees, desk fees or monthly fees for CRM. Production. Like if you sell, you get paid, I get paid, everybody's happy. If you don't sell, I wasted my time, you cost me money, you wasted your time, which costs you money, and everybody's unhappy. So it's a pretty good way to address it. I think to add on to what you're doing. And it's why I love these sessions, because we get to kind of go back and forth.
Can I add something to that? So I learned this a couple of years back. So just so you know, so I actually, years ago, before I moved to Miami, we left New Jersey, and my wife and I had built a business. It was selling products, right? It was moving products, supplements and things like that. I was still working in my corporate America, and we had built a team of about 150 people. Nice. So we were moving a decent amount of volume, right, and developing and building a team and everything like that. And it was a lot of work, right? Things changed when we came to Miami, whatever, and that was like back in another life, right? But what I learned, reading books, you know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the Cash Flow Quadrant, things like that, The Art of a Deal, and, you know, the Midas Touch, and all these different books that I learned is that it's better to receive 1% or 100%. I'm sorry, 1% of 100 than 100% of one.
Right. For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So in other words, what do most entrepreneurs that are successful, what have they built? They built a network. They built a network, right? Whether it is a network of agents, whether it is a light network, right? Thomas Edison, basically, if you look at his biography, he built the light bulb, right? But the light bulb was nothing without the network, the electricity network.
He wasn't kidding when he said he's a philosopher.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was the network that actually gave value to the light bulb, right? So you could have a good product, but if you don't have a network, you understand? Yeah. So in our case, we move volume of life insurance volume. So, like we have a goal, we have an aggressive goal this year in our team, right? And we discussed the goal in the beginning of the year, and we're going to need agents able to come in, close, and move volume of life insurance.
Correct.
That's basically what we're doing.
100%. You're brokering a product and you need distribution.
You need distribution.
And I think if you guys want to get anything out of this training, anything at all, is you got to multiply yourself. There is strength in numbers. There's power in multiplying yourself, quantifying things. And honestly, it's just kind of the foundation of any business, to your point. It's always been talent and team and, being able to identify talent, everything you kind of discuss. All right, fantastic. So how do you get an agent to write once they get licensed? Well, that's a work in progress, but today,
right.
How does that work?
So, we have a pretty good formula, we have a great formula, I think, in our agency, where it's like once a person is licensed, ready to go, we put the agent through, we call it Level Up Bootcamp, right? We basically teach them the basics of life insurance, the different products. Once you have that knowledge, that takes about 2 days. And then if the agent is licensed and contracted, he or she is ready to get on the phones that very week. Either shadow for the first couple of days, shadow somebody, a veteran agent in the office, whether it's on Zoom. And then, but the faster we get the agent on the phone, that is the key. We have to allow that agent to fail immediately, right? The faster you fail, I know it kind of sounds a little awful, right? But the faster you fail, the faster you will succeed in this business, because you're gonna fail fast.
Forward.
Exactly. So that's the key, man. Basically, just showing that agent what they need to do. How do you do that? By actually getting on the phones with them and showing them the ropes. That's pretty much it.
Gotcha.
There's really no.
Here are my 2 cents. When you guys are recruiting, and I will tell you this from the bottom of my heart, I was recruiting people, Yasser, with no infrastructure. I hate sounding like back in my day. But back in my day, we would recruit people, and when I say no infrastructure, I mean like we were trying to pretend that we had an infrastructure, but it was really bad. And it was really bad. These are growing pains that you go through in a business, and we're still going through them. You said we have a great formula. I disagree. I think we have a good formula. I think we can make it better.
Right.
But it's kind of like, but it's what you've seen, so you love it, and that's
the only thing I seen.
That's what I felt.
Right.
4 or 5 years ago when I was recruiting people, I thought it was great. Until one day I realized it wasn't. Whatever. Not the point.
Right.
But point being is, we've got to, and yes, I'm gonna take the opportunity to bring this up. We've got to not be afraid to tell people they got to invest in their business.
True.
Because the God honest truth is that the reason why you recruit the most out of the people, at least in our office, is because you invest the most in your business.
That's it.
That's the bottom line.
Yep.
And far too often, one, we're afraid to invest in our business, which is we could have a whole another 2-hour training session about why you should invest in your business.
Sure.
But we're also, since we're afraid, we can really get people to come on board and tell them they need to invest in their business. And my recruiting pitch was, I'm gonna walk you through the stages. One, in just about investing, you need $2,000 a week in leads. Now you might not have that, so we got to build you there, but that's got to be your number. That's to 90% of the population. I don't care if you make $500,000 a year at your job or it doesn't matter. That's a hefty investment.
Sure.
But that's the way the business works. Now you could turn those 2 into 5 or 6 a week, and then eventually more, and then snowball, you make a lot more.
Yeah.
But you've got to be able to do that. You're not there, we'll work on some strategies, and we can work on some strategies. You know what I mean? How do we show you how to sell your warm market? How do we put you on a direct DM, send everybody on your phone book a message that's telling them what you do? Let's make a video for you where you pitch your services, finding a way for you to generate enough business, but with the expectation that you're going to take that money that you made off your warm market, because everybody's got a warm market.
Exactly.
And it's not a scalable business model or a duplicatable, predictable business model, but you will sell it.
Right.
Because everybody, I see referrals all the time. That means you saw your tia somewhere online.
Use that as an investment, right?
Take that money and put it into the business. That's one. And two, you gotta, when you make profit, put it right back in. We've gotta build that culture, and we cannot be afraid of recruiting with that idea, because
That's true.
the reality is, Yasser, that
So true.
everybody wants what the people that you see that are doing well built, but people are not willing to do what it takes.
So true.
And it's so easy. If I would have known for sure I was going to make the money that I made over the last few years in the beginning, a no-brainer. But bro, I was like in survival mode,
Right.
maxing out credit cards, like the shit that people deal with, the shit that I know that you've gone through.
Right, I've gone through
and
it.
kind of had to get out of the hole. And we've had
Right.
conversations like, hey, I think I put too much on the credit card this month.
Yeah.
Because it's never perfect. So we got to be able to recruit people and tell them to invest in the business, because that's how you get people off the ground.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm at the point where I don't think I earn $1 when you guys get your leads. I'm almost at the point where I have the time I don't charge a penny, and there's a heavy cost into
Of
running
course.
ads.
Yeah, sure.
But it's because if you don't invest in your business, you're not going to get ahead.
Right.
My other recruiting pitches, when we were doing field, I would tell people they needed to travel to sell. So, man, you have to buy leads. You got to buy a flyer, rent a car, buy food while you're out, get a hotel. Your lead purchase has to be higher now because you're traveling, so you don't want to waste your time. If you're traveling to Ohio, you want to make sure you have a full agenda, a full calendar.
Right.
With a lead vendor that I think they're legit because I bought from them before, but any moment they can just switch it up and not have good leads, because it happens to me all the time. We run ads, and then the ads take a crap on themselves.
Yeah.
And then we manage to make you guys whole. Well, a lead vendor don't give a damn about you. They're
Exactly.
Just, hey, that's the lead batch you got this week.
It is what it is. Yeah.
And we still manage to recruit that way. So my message is, when you tell people they got to invest in their business, if you're not investing in your business, or you're going to drown. That's just the reality.
That's it. That's it.
Man, it just drives me insane. And
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
and the last thing I wanted to touch on, unless you're going to add something.
No. I 100%. I'm glad that you went there, because it's so true. I'm thinking back how I am not afraid to recruit, because I know what it takes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing it. I did it. I invested. I'm investing, time, effort, resources. So it's like, it's so true. You basically, then when you are that person, right? You already know what it is that you could guide the other person through it. But I think that people are hesitant about recruiting because they're still in that valley of, they're not really 100% in.
They're not all in.
They're not all in.
Yeah, it's easy to be all in when, like, as long as blah, blah, blah happens, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Well, as long as I have a six-pack tomorrow, I'll go to the gym. Like, it doesn't
Exactly.
work that
As
way.
long as the agency provides me leads, I'm in here. If not, they go somewhere. So go somewhere else.
Or I'll invest in leads if I have a guaranteed return.
Exactly.
And it's like, well, I'll buy leads for you if I have a guaranteed return. It doesn't really work that way either, And I think it's just a culture shift that we're having.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Yasser, I'm guilty of suffering so much in the beginning that I want to like it's almost when you have a kid and maybe that, and this will resonate if you ever have a kid that maybe has an illness or something and you want to like take care of them. Well, I was a kid with the illness because I went through a bunch of shit and I'm protecting all my other kids.
Okay.
Being like, no, I don't want you to spend money. No, I don't want you to do this. And honestly, I think I've hurt people. And I'm at a point where like, okay, we're either going to figure this out. Let's go full blown or let's just not do it at all. Let's not waste people's time. And I think that's my point when you said we have a great formula. It's like it's always evolving.
Sure.
It's always getting to a point where like, okay, there's always a realization and how do we attack it so we overcome it?
Right.
The beautiful thing is that we have bright minds in our team and a culture that supports each other that we're going to just run through a wall and figure it out. So
true.
All right. So last part of the training, because I went a little longer than what I wanted to, but this part's good, is I want to break down, and this part is on me, and then you tell me what you think or if you have questions, because I think, I don't know if I've ever broken this down to you, but you're doing a great job with warm market recruiting, and that's the best way to recruit, and make no mistake.
Yeah.
You want to recruit your warm market just because it's people that you can relate to, people that you can vet.
Right.
But then there's warm market recruiting, and then there's cold market recruiting. Do you know what cold market recruiting is?
I going outside of people that your contacts, pretty much, immediate contact. So. Right. Yeah, today I just recruited somebody. I just sent the email to Christine about a customer that I closed her on she got covered. She was protected. She got protected. Just protected her daughter.
And I'd argue that's still warm market.
That's still warm market?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you bet them for another reason. At that point, you knew them and then you
okay, gotcha.
But that's, it's cooler market.
Cooler market.
On the colder side than warm. So what cold market is, which is the next step in your investing career, right?
Okay.
So you're investing, boom, you got to get your team riding, you're buying leads, you're doing what you need to do, you're 1 week hitting it, and the next week you're threading water because you bought the wrong person leads. That's kind of the way this shit works.
Right.
If you're not up for it, don't do it.
Exactly.
Cold market recruiting we got to build out recruiting campaigns.
Okay.
Now, the good thing that you've built such a strong brand, or you're building such a strong brand, then your cold market recruiting's got to be a minimum, because your warm market is going to be, the majority of your recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say that for whatever reason, you're just, I don't know, you just got here from another country, and like it's going to be that much of a harder or a steeper mountain to climb recruiting warm market. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody has been a leader in sales in corporate America for years. Like you kind of do have a background that allows you to do well in warm market recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
Setting up cold market recruiting campaigns.
Okay.
Now we can do a whole entire training on that, but I'll give you just the gist of it.
All right.
Utilizing the platforms already out there where you can get public information that's public, like all the licensed agents in Florida.
Okay.
Setting up drip campaigns where you're dripping on them, and finding creative ways to stand up from other people that are dripping on them. Because one thing is the moment you get your life insurance license is you're getting bombarded with people. That's cold market recruiting. That's what that is.
Okay. Okay.
But the reason why you get bombarded is because it works.
Okay.
You never know who you're going to touch at what point. It's a law of numbers. So how do we get you into cold market recruiting is you might have to hire a recruiter, or we might have to automate it, when people just go to your Calendly and then you're just dealing with people that are ready to work with you.
Okay.
Now I'll kind of give you what the strategy I have in place right now is. It's working well.
All right.
I'm pulling data from pretty much every state but 13 states in the United States. And I'm doing Florida right now, and I'll go by states. I'm using ClickSend, which is just a bulk text platform to send text messages. We're getting creative messaging. We send it every day. So we're dripping them through text messages. But what they're doing is they're going from the text message or seeing something that's catchy. They're going to a website. There's our recruiting landing page that we're going to show all of you, or we can build you your own.
Okay.
If you need one. And yes, you got to pay for it, but it'll be affordable.
Right.
From there, they're going to see everything we do, bam, bam, bam. And at the end, they're going to book an appointment. If they're interested, they'll book an appointment to speak with us. Now, we're doing this for licensed agents. If somebody clicks on the link in the text message, goes through our entire website that details exactly what we do and how we do it, and clicks the Calendly and gets on a call with you, they want to work with you.
Okay, cool.
I'm probably spending...
You're doing that now?
Yeah, I'm probably spending
Nice.
$2,500 a month.
Okay.
Doing that. That's what it's costing me. I get my Calendly, Alex, I'm probably getting 12 to 15 appointments a week
Okay.
of licensed people. I'm closing, honestly, the ones that show up, I close. 80% of them show up. And it's pretty I'm sending thousands of messages.
Very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Yes.
So that's what cold market recruiting is.
Okay.
Now, here's a wonderful thing about having me be the guinea pig. I spent my first year in the business, January through April of 2021. So I started March of 2020. I probably spent $50,000. In combination, I split it with 2 other people because we hired an office. We hired 3 recruiters, 3 people. And we opened Monster, Indeed, Career Builder, all the big recruiting platforms. All of them charge $800 a month, plus the payroll, plus the office costs. We try to recruit people, and we failed miserably. When I say miserably, I mean we got zilch out of those 50 grand.
Okay.
Nothing.
Wow.
And a lot of it is through trial and error. So
Right.
now we've been able to develop a way to do it in a way that makes sense.
Okay.
So I'm I'm using my same thing, is just divvying out those appointments. I'm finding a way to have seats or scaling it. We have, another 30 something states we could do this in. So figuring out a way to do it as a team, which goes back to tools and resources. Instead of you having to spend $2,500 a month, which is hefty,
Right.
and building out a website that's going to cost you money, and paying, and eventually maybe even having to hire a recruiter, we could do it together.
Okay.
And just price it out at a price where we split it between 10 people, let's say, and it's $200 each rather than it being the $2,500 investment. But
And we build the right.
but that's what cold market recruiting is, man. Cold market recruiting is basically just proactively looking for licensed agents
Nice.
that are already in the business and that are already ready to basically just make a jump because they're not happy at their current, whatever the case may be.
Whatever the case may be.
And it's, man, I've met some good people through there, and you'll meet agency owners, you'll meet people that are, because
They have a
the
team
approach,
already,
and we'll get into that in the future, is very unique, man. So
Okay.
wanted to point that out, man. We need a mixture of both. I think organic is always the best.
Nice.
But again, I go to predictable. How likely are you to recruit another 50 in the next
Yeah.
6 years? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But there's not a specific, other than you posting like crazy, there's not a real strategy to doing that.
Gotcha.
When we have a way that, okay,
This is
we
more
know
targeted.
out of
I
every
gotcha.
1,000 messages,
Yeah,
we know
yeah.
20 reply. Okay, then I send 100,000 messages. How many are going to, now 2,000 are going to reply. Out of those, how many show up? And kind of figuring out a formula that That is, I love predictable stuff
Yeah, for sure.
because it's just the click of a button and you get things going. And
Gives you that sense of
yeah,
control
man,
more. That
I think having that part into our business is the next phase into the recruitment side, man. But
nice.
and they also come from the industry, so they're ready to invest. They understand how this works. Just want to make that kind of our, raising the bar, going back to raising the bar, kind of our focus, because we do have to recruit
Yeah, for sure.
far more aggressively because we do gotta, multiply ourselves. And
At a faster rate. I totally agree with you.
And then, yeah, man, how do we, and then weeding them all. You talked about it, right? Who's a player and who's not. I think that's the next part.
The process will do that. Yeah.
And listen, the industry is the hottest industry right now. It's us by far, bro. I've tried other businesses. I have other businesses. I can sit there and toe to toe go with any industry and tell you, no matter where you are, if you're dead broke or if you're successful, why insurance is the top destination to build a business in right now. I used to say, I even made it, if you're a doctor, it doesn't matter, bro. We have doctors that work in insurance that quit their business to do this. There's plenty of money in it. It's $1 trillion industry. All we need is a small itty bitty piece of it, and we're making a fucking killing.
Small part of the market. That's right.
So that being said, bro, thank you. I think
thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
You're doing a fantastic job. I think you provide a tremendous value to people, because it's easy for me to sit here and tell you everything that I like to do, but somebody hearing it from you who, you're in the trenches with them, you're going through what most people are going through.
Yep.
Hopefully we provided some value to people.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.